Afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. We're approaching a critical moment on AMC. The earnings report's coming out soon, but it may not be just what everyone expects. Let's talk about that. This is an article from yahoofinance.com. It says right here that AMC announced today that it'll report its results for the fourth quarter and year ended December 31st, 2020. So the year of 2020, they're going to report their earnings when the market closes on Wednesday, March 10th, guys. We're not going to know before March 10th exactly what kind of numbers come out of that. They're hosting a live webcast for investors March 10th, 2021 at 4 o'clock p.m. Okay. And here's the link. I will go ahead and pin that in the comments down below if you do want to watch that. Before we begin with the charts, here's the YouTube trading portfolio update. They're all still in the red. It's a minor loss currently. However, with a larger portfolio size, a 12% loss is going to be substantial. And a lot of people are seeing that in their portfolios currently. People are definitely getting impatient. They're expecting big moves sooner than we're ready for on AMC. And a lot of people are indeed selling out of the markets. Don't let that be you. Remember, trading takes patience. We need to stay calm and strategic. So we are going to continue to hold these positions. We're not going to sell these for a loss. Special shout out to our German friends overseas holding AMC. We're going to begin with the AMC chart in the German markets today. I wanted to point a few interesting points out here. We have this support line that's still holding. We did not see a retest of that on Tuesday. That's a good sign. People are continuing to buy this asset up at these prices currently. Zooming in even further, you can see that there may be some sort of a bullish trend line forming here. I can extend it all the way back February 19th. And that does appear to be valid at the moment. It could perfectly line up with the wicks even. Look how perfectly. See that wick, guys? One there and one there right at the support line. This number is about 6.35. Also, if I do the same from the top, coming downwards, we have a lot of touch points along this trend line. So there is some significance to this pattern. Currently, it is outside of this pattern and riding on top, okay? So if this long-term support trend line holds, then we're actually sitting in a very comfortable position at the moment for the bulls, because this will paint a pretty clear upwards trend. It follows that trend line and it's moving quickly. Here's the earnings report on the chart, okay? And technically it says March 4th. So I believe that a lot of people are expecting the earnings report sooner than we'll actually receive those numbers. Remember, it's March 10th, not March 4th, even though it shows it right here on the chart. We're staying one step ahead of the markets, guys. Lastly, for the German markets, I zoom out to a 4-hour chart now. Here's the big breakout from last month. It appears that you can extend this trend line and potentially make some sort of symmetric wedge out of this entire breakout. This is a massive wedge, and that could be extremely bullish once we see prices riding amongst this upper trend line. Okay, guys. So things are looking very healthy on the AMC charts. Just want you to be aware of that. It's nothing to panic about for long-term holders. And perhaps here, a trend line as well on the RSI. Something like that. Just a quick illustration. Onto the US markets. I like how the last candles closed green. It didn't quite make it back into our box of confluence consolidation. We saw a lot of price action in this box. So once the price does return to that box, it essentially is already. It's on top of the VPVR point of control. So it's pretty close to this box already. It's likely that during the pre-market hours, it will find its way back into this box. And I would anticipate a continuation upwards from there. I've got a lot of questions about targets and stop losses. As for the targets, guys, I do vary my targets from video to video, and that is specifically because of different time frames. All the higher targets of our old all-time high at $35, that's still a valid target. I just haven't talked about it for a week now because there's so much going on during the intraday action that it's important to stay focused on where we are currently. I will be discussing higher numbers once we start breaking up through some of these resistances. Watch this support, this yellow support trend line. It's the same pattern that we just showed on the German markets, right? A lot of touch points along this trend line. One right on the our 775 support. It's very strong support. It's been holding for weeks. And okay, and the candle before, this is an hourly, guys, but the candle right before the last one that closed, this is an indecision candle. So we're reaching a point now where it's going to have to make a decision very soon on the charts. I'd like to talk about GME now. Some of my new viewers never got a chance to see the pattern I'm about to draw. This whole area up in the breakout, all these red candles and wicks, it's a little confusing when you first see it, and it's extremely difficult to pinpoint anything accurate from that range. Any kind of patterns that you can draw onto the charts, symmetrically speaking. It does respect the Fibonacci's in the way that I've drawn it here. But instead of worrying too much about each exact candle here and each wick, I'm just going to use this whole area as a general estimate for a range. Okay, start right in the middle and draw a trend line all the way down to where the last local high reached at almost $200, 0.5 fib. And if I extend that all the way down to our long-term support, it does appear to also be a gigantic wedge forming. A lot of traders are going to miss that pattern. I'm showing you early. Sorry guys. Just get rid of that. So I'm showing you this extremely early. It's not valid just yet. We don't have enough candles on the daily chart to confirm this pattern. I would like to see another test up here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. GameStop goes up and tests this level because it may see a rejection or it may break out, retest, and continue upwards. That's what I'm watching right now. Note, this is another indecisive candle. A lot of wicks on both sides, right? Big wicks. This week could end with a bang. Zooming in, went to a 5-minute chart for my day traders. Keep an eye on all of these support lines. I'll go ahead and put a box on this entire area. It's from $120 down to $100. That's the new buy box on GME. Note this trend line, because as I was saying earlier, a lot of people are panicking right now. They entered at high prices. The experiment with the YouTube trading portfolio, we entered at high prices. Those are down. A lot of people aren't expecting that during the earnings week. So they perhaps already sold out and took a loss. And this is a perfect example of something like that happening, because this trend line is on the intraday, so it's just a 5-minute chart. It did not take very long for this move to play out. And people bought in when it was riding upwards, got rejected from this Fibonacci level. We've seen that a few times now over the week, right here. And so people who bought in this green area, they potentially set their stop losses right here. And the price dipped below that trend line for just momentarily before shooting back up to where they bought in. So that could have been a big loss at 14%. Okay. That's a huge move to get stopped out on. That's happening every day. It's also happening with options expiring worthless. We don't know exactly when a bigger movement is going to take place. Could be any day at this point. Things are getting hot. So now that we're below this trend line, it seems a little scary or intimidating to re-enter a position that got stopped out over here, because it appears that it could continue downwards. However, I do believe it will respect this strong support. I'll keep you guys posted. Remember to check back tomorrow for daily AMC and GME technical analysis updates. Cheers. Happy trading.